So I've got some data on this and a case study that I prepped for the show today. So there was a couple people were speaking about this. I think it was on Housing Wire, where the mortgage rate volatility is stopping sellers from listing. Because imagine if this happens, right? And how, you guys are seeing leasebacks a lot in your marketplace, like they're negotiating these extended closings. So imagine you have this, you sell your house, you got a 120-day closing, and then rates jump up another point. Well, you're kind of screwed there. And that's what sellers are really afraid of. And on BAM, you guys wrote an article about this, about the lock-in effect. I think that's a real thing that's happening. But sellers are scared of, I literally had this conversation with my neighbor yesterday because there's a home for sale on our street. And she goes, well, we never move. And they're in their 70s because I've got a 3% interest rate. Why would I do that? And these people that have the motivation to move, well, okay, it's 6 1/8, I'm good. 6 1/2, I'll swallow it. But if they go back up to 7, I'm not moving again. And that's in the back of a lot of sellers' heads. So some stability with mortgage rates would go a long way here. And to your point, Byron, I went back and researched my 2012 sales data. And I looked at how that year played out, because that was a year where it was on the tail end of the depression from 2008, and we saw some recovery. And that first half of the year was not a good year for volume, at least locally here in the greater Philadelphia area. The second half, it really picked up, and we saw a lot more sales activity. We saw more people listing, and we saw a lot more pending sales. The number actually grew a bit in 2012. And then our team in 2021 felt the same thing in the second half of the year, because the first half of the year was just too frothy and too busy. So there have been some anecdotal instances where the second half of the year will outpace the first year. It's not the norm. This is out of 21 years of practicing real estate, and we're seeing it 10% of the time, 2 years. So, but in those situations, there were some extenuating circumstances and some unusual market conditions like we're seeing now.
Well, so Altos Research, if we go the week that just happened, according to Altos Research, all right, so 49,000 new listings across the country in the last week. The same week last year, so 22, we had 67,000 new listings, almost 68,000 new listings. In 2021, we had 67,000 new listings. So we're 18,000 new listings in just a week off, same week over last year. If you go to 2015, that number was 94,000, 2016, 86,000, 2017, 79,000. We're at an unprecedented level of new listings right now coming on to the market. And so, I mean, there's no indication that it's a guarantee that'll happen, but you would just imagine that, based off of the last 20 years of data, we will see some more listings in this market. If you get an interest rate to get back closer to 6, which we're a long ways away from it this week, and maybe even under 6, that'll open up the opportunity for people to move around. The worst thing that happened to inventory and affordable housing was 2.5% and 3% interest rates long term.
Yeah. It's interesting. One of the other things in the article about the locked inventory, some stats about sellers. You guys had some powerful stats in there, right? I kind of polled some of the folks sitting out on the sales floor. In 2022, 32% of sellers expected that there would be a bidding war on their property. And it was interesting. Half the folks on my sales floor said that they thought it would be that more sellers would be expecting a bidding war this year, and half thought that they would be expecting that less would be expecting a bidding war.
How about this one? Because we just assume that everybody knows they can make a profit on their home. But one out of 3 sellers say that they think they can make a profit by selling their current home in the current market. Is that not an opportunity for real estate agents to make sure that everybody in their market knows that they can not only get a profit for their home, but it's likely a substantial profit that they are sitting on if they want to unlock that equity? If two out of 3 potential sellers aren't even aware that they can get a profit, would that not be a motivating factor to getting on the market sooner or making that decision to, I will go on the market? That's an email subject line. That's a piece of information I want to get out there.
That's a powerful one. I'll make a note myself, actually.
Now when you start talking about price, almost half expect to get their asking price, which is up from almost 1 out of 4 in 2022. So there's some conditioning.
Unbelievable.
There's some conditioning on price for sure. But that's just about getting the home price right. And we can get the asking price in this market. That hasn't gone away. But we still need to be conscious of, where these prices are getting comped out at. Have you seen appraisals get pushed back?
We're just
Yeah.
starting to get it. We're
One or
missing the
two,
mark.
not many.
Yeah, I mean,
Really?
it's not like a wave of them. I'd love to know in the comments if you're on YouTube, if you're experiencing it and what your market is. But we're seeing enough of them where it's been a little bit of a pattern where appraisers are starting to push back, because you got to think Q3 and Q4, you saw sales really decline. And then you did in some areas see prices take a hit. And if they just don't have the sales in that area because of lack of inventory, now they're trying to comp out and they can't use Q2 of last year. That's the last sale. I can't get there.